Welcome to CSC. So glad you could join us for today's broadcast. And let's get right into it. We're going to be talking about this transgender ban initiated by President Trump. But in my opinion, this leads to a much broader topic of conversation. First, let me say that having a different opinion on something um, without hating the person or the issue on the other side is something that we no longer hold to in our society. If you have another opinion on something, it is labeled as hate or bigotry or a whole bunch of names they have for it, simply because you do not agree with a particular position or a particular issue. So, all of this is with the design of shutting you up or making you feel guilty so that you don't speak. Do not, and once again, I say, do not fall for that in any form, my friends. Let's use our common sense. So let's look at the issue of transgender, not just in the military, but in our culture as a whole. Now, we all know President Trump brought this to light the other day with his usual bombastic way, sending out a tweet and getting everybody now to at least start to talk about it. These days, to me, it seems there's never any real public discourse on these issues. A few leaders decide what would be best, and then they just implement it. Most of the time, it is politically motivated. But I wonder, how can a small minority dictate the actions that affect us all? Whether it's this new bathroom policies that we see up popping up in a lot of states where girls can use the boys' facilities and vice versa, or as the aforementioned transgenders serving in the armed forces. But listen to some of these statistics. It is estimated that there are about 1.4 million people who are categorized as transgender, according to a new study. And I think that includes gay, lesbian, bisexual folks. Also, in a national study, 40% of transgender adults reported having made a suicide attempt. 40%. 92% of these individuals reported having attempted suicide before the age of 25. So to me, in my common sense, that tells you right away that there is some issues that are going on in the transgender community that that are highly suspect in terms of their mental ability to either process things or it's an identity issue. In my opinion, it's an identity issue because biologically speaking, there's no way to fool the biology. There's no way to adjust your chromosomes in your body. There's no way to switch up your DNA. So that lets me know that right there that it is a mental condition. A person has a problem identifying with the sex that they are born in. And why? The other thing it seems as though is that this is becoming more and more prevalent in our society. And why is that? If we go back to the study that we just read, it said 92% of the 40% of transgender adults that have made a suicide attempt are under 25. So why is that, might you ask? Well, if you look at our schools, our schools are probably one of the major, and I'm talking about our grade schools, middle schools, high schools are probably one of the main incubators of this train of thought that it's okay for you to decide whatever sex you want to be. And even many parents, when they have young children that are being born, will not clarify the sex of the child because they're waiting for the child to make that decision themselves. So all of this transgender stuff is being put into our society, is being influenced to our young people. It's being thrown at us at a high rate, and there's no wonder that there is an increase in not only the transgender population but also the confusion that comes along with this. So, what does common sense tell us? Common sense tells us that our biology is either male or female, and that we are born this way, and that for us to try to decide at a later time that we are not what we really are, to me, lends itself to some mental instability. Now, this is just my opinion. I don't expect for you to agree with me 100%, but it's my opinion. And to me, this is why a reason that I'm highly concerned with this, with transgenders in the military. The reason I have this problem is because really two things. If you're having issues with who you really are, identity, then that lends itself to not being a stable individual. And then the other thing um, that bothers me is that it kind of upsets the apple cart because, and I don't know this for sure, but I would think that a majority of military personnel would be opposed against people of different sexes either showering together or getting dressed together. I can't see where that wouldn't be a problem, especially for the women in the military having a man in the shower with them. I just can't see that that would be a good situation. And that's not only, that's not only for our military. That's in all other areas of life, in school, in health clubs, whatever the case might be. It's to me, it's. I'd have to say it's unnatural. And were I to invoke my Christian faith into this, the Bible lets us know in the very beginning that God created male and female, and that He created male and female for a purpose, for His own purposes. And I won't get into to all of the specific roles that He created men and women for. But we're living in a time where those roles are um, being torn down and replaced with a more humanist view of men and women. And I believe it's going to have an effect for generations to come, not only on our children, but on our society as a whole. So, common sense tells us that there are differences between men and women, and that we were born into this world either male or female, and any delineation or movement away from that principle is going to cause ripple effects and havoc on our society as a whole. And I think the whole transgender thing, where we see increasing number of suicides in the transgender LGBT community, is just a small indication of what we're going to face in the future if we continue down this path. So that's my 2 cents on it. I think I hope I invoked some common sense into it. Please do subscribe to our page. Please like us. Please hit the little bell so you can be notified when we upload some more videos. And then finally, please do comment in the comment section. We'd like to hear from you, good or bad. We'd like to get your feedback on these videos. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask your questions. Bring up topics that you would like us to discuss on our channel, because this is your channel, and we hope to be beneficial and a blessing to you. So this is Steve. Thanks for tuning in to Common Sense Christianity. I'll see you next time.